Welcome back. My name is Matt. This is Hidden Light. And today we are going to scan the Hasselblad XPAN film that I shot in last week's video and work with it in Negative Lab Pro. So you can see kind of the process for how I work with my own film, from how I scan it to how I edit it to then exports and how I save it. Maybe a little bit of file management, even though it's tragically boring. Maybe you're interested in this, maybe you're not. So we use a copy stand setup to scan all the film all the time. If you've been around for a while, you know that, oh God, it's just so fast. It's so good. So we're using gear mostly from Negative Supply. We're not affiliated with them. I mean, I guess we kind of are. Technically, we're a dealer. But yeah, we use Negative Supply stuff for the bottom half of everything. So I'm going to use their light source. I'm going to use their film carriers. Yeah, it's an interesting system. There's a lot of parts and pieces to it. And it can be quite expensive, but once you're set up and you have the ability to scan a roll in a minute or less, that's incredible, especially coming from a land of flatbed scanners, which is like 20 plus minutes a roll. That could be really terrible. So I'm really happy with the Negative Supply setup. I'm scanning on a Sony A7R4 using the 90mm macro, which is a serious piece of glass. Now, usually I like to scan my film with their old, big, beautiful aluminum carrier thing. But this one will not show full frame XPAN scans by like just a couple of millimeters. So we can't use that today. So instead of using the massive older version that has like a good heft to it, I like this thing. I'm going to use the more modern, more new one that will show full frame Hasselblad beautifulness. It does not allow me to show the sprockets. That's okay. I think you can buy the inserts for these that will show the sprockets. I'm not worried about it. We're going to crop in on these anyway, just for giggles. So yeah, we're going to use this. I'm using the 8x10, I think it's the 99 CRI light source. Nice and bright. And yeah, let's see what we see here. Just get my life set up a little bit. Okay. Excellent. So the first thing I'll do with each roll is scan the twin check number, and then I'll go through and scan all the film. So yeah. And of course we do this in the dark so that I don't have reflection from all these other lights. Excellent. So, see that twin check, use my remote, boot, and away we go. I'm also going to mark the camera screen with a piece of blue tape so that my frames end up mostly in a consistent place. Okay, so now that I've got the film scanned, we'll take the memory card over to the computer and yeah, see how these files look. Okay, so here we are at the computer, which you can't see because it's right here. I've got the screen recording here. I'm gonna just kind of walk us through how I generally do this. It's nothing fancy, but it's interesting to see things go from negative to positive and what I do. And I'm sure you intelligent people have things that I could be doing smarter, better, faster, stronger. I don't know. So here we are on the old Lightroom. This is what the files look like straight out of the camera. I am shooting RAW. They are enormous. So what I'll typically do first thing is come in here, give myself a little white balance check, and I'm gonna crop into these just so that I can control exactly how much I'm coming in on it. And I'm gonna apply that throughout the entire thing. And all I'm gonna do is do white balance and crop. Hopefully Lightroom doesn't frickin' shit the bed on me. Ooh, there it is. Beautiful. So what that does is give me closer in versions. And then all I'm going to do, you know, I'll just do a quick check to make sure my crop is reasonable. There are a couple of spots where it's off a little bit. Sometimes I'll come in and deal with that. These negatives are thin. Not ideal. I think my problem is that I'm letting the XPAN choose the shutter speed for me, and I think what's happening is it's not giving me enough light. So what I'm gonna do moving forward past these rolls that I've shot is dial in a +1 exposure compensation across the board, because you pretty much can't hurt the film, right? Giving it a little bit more light, it's not gonna hurt you. So, but since I haven't done that, we're gonna have to play with these files just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and let Negative Lab Pro crush through these basically on its own. With no input from me. I'm just gonna let it do its thing. And we'll come back in 62 frames from now when it's done. Okay, so Negative Lab Pro has done its thing. To start with, I'm gonna leave all this alone. I'm just gonna let it be. Drop back into grid mode and turn everything over so that I can actually see what the hell is going on and give it just a quick once over, right? Just see how things look. I mean, you can tell from the histogram here where it's not hot. It's not great. That's kind of a fun one. Yeah, blah. There's a lot of blah going on in here. Generally, my instinct is to edit these later after I do a nice export. There's Alex. Everybody say hi to Alex. Yeah, there's Alex again. Hi, Alex. That's a great shot, actually. I like that. That's not a great shot. It's funny. Yeah. Ooh, what's this about? Big old scratch in there. Interesting. This roll, by and large, we're getting way better contrast out of, which is strange. I don't know if it's strange, it just is. That's kind of a cute one. Double pano. Panoception. All right. By and large, I think Negative Lab Pro has done an okay job on these. I do have some scratching on these negatives, which could be something inside the camera, or it could be something that happened in development or later. So we'll have to just go check that out. But then basically from here, what I would typically do is give myself a fair bit more room here on this crop. That's how you can tell it's an XPAN right there. And then apply that all the way down the board, just so that I have room. I'm going to export these as 16-bit TIFFs, and I'm going to do it such that I don't have to worry about doing these again later in the future. I'm going to give myself lots of room. I can always come in, right? So I'll apply that crop all the way across the whole set. I am getting an interesting frame spacing problem down here, so we'll keep our eyes out for that. This is the only roll that it happened on, but just keep your eyes out. And I already applied some sharpening to this. Aside from my lack of contrast, I think the sharpening has done its job. And by and large, you know, you can tell what I'm focusing on, so it's maybe okay. What I'll probably do from here, honest to goodness, is just rename the files, which I've already done. So you'll see that 7542 is the twin check number, and that each image will be 7542 dash a number. So 7542, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, blah, 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 blah. Through the end of the roll. The next roll, 7541, already has been applied. The shortcut for that, for those of you who don't know, is function F2 on a Mac. So what I'll do is I'll just come through here, function F2, and name this 754 whatever, and then hit OK, and it renames them on the disk. So it renames the raw file on the disk. So once you do it once, you don't have to deal with it anymore, which is great. From there, I just export these bad boys, and then I'll open them in my own personal Lightroom catalog, which is separate from the catalog I used to work on everyone's scans, your scans, and see what I see. You know, at that point, we can come in here and start making edits and seeing what the hell is going on with all these. You know what I mean? Just give myself a little bit of extra room. And then while I'm in that catalog, we'll do like ratings, keepers, rejects, a little bit of contrast adjustment, that kind of thing. So we'll just export these real quick, and we'll see you in the next catalog. Here we are in my personal Lightroom catalog. This is all of the images that I have taken since 2005, so plenty long. Obviously Lightroom wasn't around in 2005, yeah, but I have all of my raw files and exports from when I was taking photos as a wee sexy baby. So what I'm going to do in here is just do a little bit of management. So my shit lives here, it's on my drive, it's in me, it's in the year, and this is this month, which, as you may or may not be able to tell, is not in here. So I just need to put these things in some folders here. So 7540, 21 frames. Well, you get 20 frames per roll plus the twin check, which is its own whatever. 7541, 7542. And what we'll just do is drop all of these into Lightroom. I've already sharpened these, so we're going to leave them alone. We're going to add them without moving them. Ready, set, go. This includes my Holga roll too, which is really fun. It's a great test roll. Right. We're going to ignore the Holga for now and just play with these. So the first thing I'm going to do is just see if I can give myself a little bit of contrast here. How far is too far? How far is not far enough? I'm just going to start globally across all three rolls. Because I feel like it can't hurt, considering how underexposed everything is. All right, my first run through here after like a quick global adjustment is like, which of these am I gonna keep? 1 star, I might keep it and use it for something. Anything that doesn't get at least 1 star will get deleted. So there's that. Sometimes I'll just come in here and play around a little bit, see what I can see. Why you gotta be all... You know, something like that, just to see what there is. These are probably mostly very boring to you. That's okay, that's allowed. Jeez. All right. So there's my 1 star, stuff I might actually keep and or use. Then typically 2 stars for me means worth actually editing and putting a little bit of time into, and then maybe actually like printing or something. 2 stars is like, yeah, okay, I'll hold on to that one and use it. Sometimes while I'm in here, it's like, okay, let's see what we can pull off in a crop. You know what I mean? Like, how much of this is worth anything? The fact that I have to off-center this much is like kind of shitty. But it gets the point across. That's probably my favorite so far. That's a close second. That's cute. That's cute too. All right, sweet. So now I got 2 stars. Narrowing things down a little bit here. I have a feeling that I'm not going to keep the borders on most of this. Just without the full film sprocket effect, it doesn't feel like it has quite the right amount of sex appeal. So I'll probably just come in here and give myself a couple of starter crops. This one I could see cropping even more, like just crop out that snow in the back. We don't need it. I could even come in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of cropping. Look at that moose. So handsome. And I could, I know, batch apply these crops across. Let's try that and see what happens. Yeah, that worked okay. Except for there where it doesn't work at all. That I feel like is more like that. That's what that wants to be. The verticals, I don't know about the verticals. It's an experiment. I do like this one. And then this is frame spacing shenanigans, but that's life. All right, there we go. Decent crops all the way across the board. I like this. I hate this. I could probably remove that, but that's a task for another time. This I do want to play with, and this is something I would play with in Photoshop to try and pull out the texture differences in here. This tone curve exists, but it's not doing a great job. This one I do actually like, even though it's boring. Center those up a little bit better. I like the idea of this one. Got some pubes in it though. We'll just take care of that real quick. Nice. I might remove this. Ugh, the house and the power lines is like, man, I don't know. This is one of those, like, let's see what Lightroom wants to do with that. You know? Some cursed editing is what this is. I've seen worse. Oh, man. Doing great. Except for all those spots where I'm not doing great. That's a little better. That's just straight up cute. Although it probably could use a little bit of a black point adjustment here. That could get a little brighter. Not too much brighter. Man, my horizon leveling skills are just atrocious. But we knew that about me. Like, hold on. What would be level? It's funny. That one's not bad. A little brighter might help. Yeah, something like that. This, we've lost the snow. You can see it in the histogram. I don't think I'm getting that back. Nope. So that was a problem not in the scan probably, but in Negative Lab Pro's execution of the inversion. So I could go back and deal with that in the other catalog and see if I can get this to behave a little bit more. I like the idea of this image. The execution, I don't know. This one's cute. I like this one. Just because, like, I've lived out here for quite a while, and I never knew that this sign was here, nor that this was like very obviously a river sometimes. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, like nothing too crazy, but a few images that aren't the most terrible shit I've ever done. And if we were to remove the verticals from this layout, it almost looks like they were shot on purpose as part of a series. I pulled a moose photo out too. There you go. Look at that. Almost like a series that we shot on purpose. For a day out shooting, dicking around, trying to document this experience because it doesn't happen every year. It's kind of rare. It gives me a feel for what was going on in the neighborhood at the time, or in town, really, in general at the time. And I think that's fun. Useful, but it's interesting to me personally as like a record of my experience. So yeah, that's that. Probably the most boring video you've ever seen. If it was, let me know in the comments down below, and I guess we'll just see you in the next one. Thanks for coming along.